Following is a non-profit fan base, yada yada yada. You know how this goes, right? Why do I need to say this again for you? Anyways, let's start the previously on segment.
Last time on Eve with Voices.
What the fuck? What is this? No!
Dance your cares away. Worries for another day. Let the music play. Down in Fraggle Rock.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
And now back to the gallery. As Eve and Gary left the brown area, they traveled through a pink area that was noticeably different. Eve did her best to dodge the floating jellyfish, and then the world changed around her. For no longer was she in the world of Weiss Guertena. It seemed she had stumbled into someone else's realm. The drawings of Guertena were realistic and lifelike. But these sketches, they appear to have been drawn by someone much younger. Everything was so loose and sketchy. It was amazing that Eve could even stand on the path she was walking. Eve then saw the sign pointing to the sketchbook and decided to see how far the rabbit hole went.
It says sketchbook. Well now, this is a significant change in atmosphere, but nothing we can't handle. Let's go, Ebe.
Eve recognized a pair of tulips. They smelled of crayon, but one of these things was not like the other.
Why hasn't this one bloomed, I wonder? I'm surprised we were able to open that door. That clock isn't moving. The hands are probably drawn on. And who is that person? There's no way for anyone to tell. What? These are all storybooks. No time for that, though.
Still smells like crayon. Eve took a look at the bulletin board, but there was nothing of interest on it. In fact, there was nothing there at all, so she moved on.
Whoa, what is that? No, not that. I'm talking about the girl hanging on the red string. It looks just like... You know, I think I know whose world this is.
Along the way, Eve came across a butterfly park, a place where butterflies could flap around to their heart's content. Eve went in and played with the butterflies for a while, but there was nothing harmful about butterflies, was there? The house next to the butterfly park was locked, but on the door she saw a message.
Such a kind message. It wraps around to suspicious.
Eve didn't know what Gary was talking about, but she nodded anyways as if she had.
Wow, would you look at that? Strange how it's just etched into the sky like that. Brr, I didn't know that crayons could feel so cold. Until now. Wow, so many flowers. And some of them aren't even facing the right direction. This house must be pretty important. Surprise! It's also locked.
And then Eve came across a large pond. She had never felt something so strange. It was like putting her hand in liquid wax, only it wasn't too hot. She wanted to take a closer look at it, perhaps even go for a swim to see how deep the water was.
Ebe, make sure you don't fall in while spacing out.
But then again, some mysteries were better left unexplored.
Look at all those trees. Usually you put leaves on them when you draw them. They must all be dead. Shame. Nothing to see here, Ebe. Let's continue.
The pink key is always kept in the toy box.
The toy box? I guess there's a key there. Let's find it, Ebe.
And so Ebe had explored the pink sketchbook world. The layout was very simple. Now all she needed was to figure out what she was going to do from here. She started by entering a house that was previously locked.
I guess this is a coat hanger.
This house held a lot of opportunities. The question was, what did Ebe need from here? Was it the apples? Or perhaps the rabbit? No, it was the bucket.
Eve? Gary? Where are you? Oh.
Don't tell me. That was... She's after us.
Ebe slowly made her way out of hiding. She did not want to be found by Mary. Her last encounter with her was rather dangerous. Ebe knew where to go from here.
Ebe, where are you going?
Ebe was going for some water. Not for her. There was someone else who needed it. Or rather, something else who needed it. She was rather tempted to use the water on these trees right here, but there were too many. That would be an issue to address later.
Hey, the path leading here. It's gone. Nowhere to go but forward, I guess. Oh, you want to water that tulip? That's a great idea. Wonderful, we've got a key. Now let's see what it unlocks. Let's start with that one, right there.
There it was, Mary's gallery. She had seen the signs before, but this gallery made it official. This area was part of Mary's world, and right smack dab in the middle was...
Pandora's box, huh?
Leave it!
Yes, maybe we shouldn't open it.
Ebe needed a moment to take it all in. There was Mary with her friends, Ebe and Gary. Each of them was holding a rose, but the yellow rose was not Mary's.
So, you changed your mind, Ebe?
Open it!
I wonder what all that was. Ah, there's something left in the box. A mirror? Well, let's just hope it's hope.
Having opened Pandora's box, Ebe noticed some differences in the area.
Jesus Christ! And I thought it couldn't get any worse. Let's just get out of here. I'm glad that mouth is just etched into the background.
At the butterfly park, Ebe knew that one of these butterflies was not like the others.
This butterfly's wings have an eye pattern on them.
The question was, what difference did it make? And by the blue door, the orange sun was shining brightly. Just what she needed against a door covered in ice.
Ah, the ice on the door melted. I see now. You reflected the sunlight. Not too shabby.
Under this bright, warm sunlight, Ebe and Gary were suddenly feeling a bit more conversational.
You know, after seeing all the moving paintings and things jumping out, I'm hardly even surprised to see a moving painting now. Crazy, isn't it? Trick art is nothing special, huh?
Trick art was one thing, but trick art made in crayon? That was a whole different sort of animal.
Ah, dear. Look, Ebe. My watch is broken. It was working this morning, but it stopped once I came here. I was really fond of it too.
Ebe thought that if this place was anything like Narnia, then time simply didn't flow in this world at all. The moment they went back to the real world, the watch would start moving again.
I have to say, we've come a long way, us two. I wonder when we'll get out. My feet are starting to get sore.
Ebe was just as eager, but based on the scenery around her, she had a feeling that getting out of here would happen sooner rather than later.
Say, Ebe, what happened in the other room while we were separated?
Ebe explained how a statue had blocked the way, keeping her and Mary from going back the way they came.
Huh? A statue blocked the door? Really? Those things are quite heavy, so it would have been hard for you to move it.
Indeed, even with the strength of two girls, it was difficult to move it, and with no Gary to help them, they were quite stuck.
I was just thinking, why did Mary come with us? To make fun of us? The more I think about it, the less likely that seems.
Ebe didn't know either, but she believed that if she had more time to think about it, she'd be able to figure it out. After all, there were clues about the nature of this place scattered throughout the gallery.
We don't know very well what she's after. Of course, she may not even have a goal. First things first, I want her to stop chasing us with a palette knife.
If they had a gun, then stopping Mary would be child's play.
Ebe, you came to the exhibit with your mom and dad, yes?
Ebe said she did. She asked Gary if there was anyone he came to the gallery with.
I came alone. Not to imply that I don't have friends, of course. Art galleries aren't really places for groups of adults to go. I thought it would be nicer to see the exhibit alone. Take it at my own pace.
Ebe figured that if Gary were to disappear, nobody would look for him. At least she had her parents.
They say that art should stand on its own. Of course, in Guertena's case, the art also walks on its own and attacks on its own.
In a world like this, the artwork must get bored very, very quickly.
It's warm. But this is a fake sun, isn't it? I hope we get to see a real sky again soon.
Ah, that would be nice. But even a fake sun was better than no sun at all.
Say, Ebe, have you heard of macarons? They're these pastries shaped like hamburgers. And just the other day, I had one at a cafe. It was so tasty. It was really, really good. Even the cream wasn't too sweet. So, if we get out of here, could we go there together? No, wait. We will be going there, and we will get out. I promise.
A man who could eat a bunch of sweets and not grow fat. Now that was a trait that Ebe admired in a man. She had to stay in touch with him after they got out.
You saw that stuff flying out of Pandora's box earlier, right? I wonder what it was. Probably not anything good, that would figure.
Well, considering it was Pandora's box we're talking about here, things could have been a hell of a lot worse.
You know, as far as we've managed to come, aren't we headed down? All the stairs go down. Is this a good way to go?
As far as Ebe was concerned, it was the only way to go.
I'm sorry, Ebe. I didn't mean to make you anxious. Forget I said it, okay?
It was around this point that we ran out of conversation.
Ebe, sunbathing is nice, but we've got to go, or we might not get to see the real sun again.
A cursory glance at the floor was enough to tell Ebe she was looking at a map of the sketchbook area. As for the wall...
Look, Ebe, aren't those the objects we saw when we opened Pandora's box? Alright, these are the switches. So far, so good. Yikes! That didn't look too good. We shouldn't be doing this off the cuff. That wall will give us a hint on which switches to press. We just gotta find where each of those lucky charms are.
Eve already located the orange sun in the northwest. The pink heart was to the north.
Just like the button you pressed at the very start.
But which of the lucky charms would Eve find here? It was the yellow moon. That was 3 so far. Unfortunately, Eve was starting to get curious again. And you know what curiosity does. A note to all you gardeners out there. Water made out of wax is not very healthy for plants.
Wow, the trees are suddenly alive. They even have fruit on them.
Indeed they did. Eve noticed there was even a red apple by its lonesome self.
I don't see anything here. Let's try the house.
Eve looked around to see if any of the lucky charms popped up. Finally, she looked through the books when she came across the cyan star.
Full of stars on the inside, too.
5 down and 3 more to go.
There's the green spiral. That's 6.
Eve already knew the location of the blue cat, for she had come across it before. This left the brown eye on one of the butterflies. With all 8 of the lucky charms accounted for, she was now ready to make something that was magically delicious.
Have you memorized the locations of the lucky charms?
She did.
Good. Now all we have to do is push the buttons all in the right order.
Pink heart. Brown eye. Yellow moon. Orange sun. Cyan star. Green spiral. Red apple. Blue cat.
We frosted Lucky Charms!
They're magically delicious!
We did it! Now let's take that key and unlock whatever needs unlocking.
There was only one way for Eve to go, onwards and upwards. So she unlocked the door to the house and went inside. There it was. Even though it looked like a giant trash bucket, Eve was able to recognize the toy box she needed to reach.
This is the toy box? It's rather big, but at any rate...
The toy box was dark inside, and it didn't help that the hole was sketched in too.
It said there was a key in there. I can't say I see the bottom. Is there really a key in there, I wonder?
Wanna see?
Huh?
Down inside the toy box was a whole hodgepodge of all the nightmarish things rolled into one. It was this place that should have been the real Pandora's box. And Eve was alone. No Gary in sight. Worst of all, her rose was missing. She had to find it, and quickly. The petals on the ground were a very bad sign. That rose was her lifeline, literally. It was only through sheer fortune that none of the toys got up and started moving around. More petals. The sight filled her with dread, but she didn't need to see the petals to know that her rose was in very bad shape. Eve looked around, but she didn't find her rose. Instead, she found Gary.
Ow. I hit my head. Eve, are you okay?
I hurt all over.
Huh? What? No fractures or anything, right?
Gary gave Eve a quick look over. Nothing stood out. All of Eve's pain was internal.
Well, you can still walk, so I'm guessing not. Don't scare me like that. At any rate, this place is full of scribbles. Is this a toy box?
Yes. Yes, it was.
We fell in from the upper floor, after she pushed us. Well, let's look for the key and get out. You look kind of pale. Are you really okay?
Eve confessed to Gary that her rose was missing.
What? You lost your rose? That's not good at all. Let's find it quick.
With Gary's help, Eve was able to quickly find her rose.
Look, there it is. Not many petals left. We better recover it fast. Is there a vase around?
Eve was now reunited with Gary and her red rose. But there was still one thing left for her to find. The very reason she went into the toy box in the first place. And the very thing that all the dolls, statues, and mannequins didn't want her to find.
What? I don't like this. It's just like before. What's with these guys? Eve, be careful.
It was time for her to run. But through sheer luck, there just happened to be stairs available for Eve and her hobo friend to climb out of. The danger had passed. Or had it?
Huh? Did this room change?
Indeed it did. Yellow roses had grown over where the toy box once stood. But she had the key now and...
Wait a moment, Ebe. There's stairs over there. We should probably take a look up there. Thoroughly blocked. Telling us not to go up then. Got to get through somehow.
Abe wanted a closer look at the crayon thorns.
These thorns are odd. They don't seem real. They don't feel as lively as plants should. Very much fake. Of course, there's lots here that don't feel real. That sunlight, for example. We're really deep in this now, aren't we? What do we do?
Burn them!
Burn them? Yes, I suppose that'll work. It completely slipped my mind, even though I have a lighter. Alright, let's burn these.
There were many different objects in the gallery of Guertena, but each and every one of them had a single thing in common. They were all susceptible to fire.
Success! It worked, Ebe! This room. This isn't the toy box, is it?
No, it wasn't.
More importantly, see that, Ebe? The painting on the far wall. I think I've seen it before. Let's take a look. No, Ebe, the painting is up ahead.
Who's there? Eve,
Gary, you're both okay? How did you get into this room?
Eve didn't dignify that with a response.
Leave.
Mary, you...
Don't take another step.
What?
Leave right now. Now, now, now!
But Eve had no intention of getting near Mary, let alone going around her.
Leave!
Eve, the painting! You know what we need to do, right?
Bone it!
There's no other option.
Please, stop!
Ah!
No!
I have to say, girls sure can be scary.
The most dangerous of demons are the ones shaped like humans. That was something Eve had learned while reading Inuyasha.
Well, anyway, it burnt up a lot more violently than I expected. Are you okay, Ebe? The glass shattered after all.
But Eve had noticed that Gary was bleeding from one of his hands.
My hand? Oh, you're right. I cut it. I didn't even notice. It must have just happened. Well, it's just a minor wound.
But Eve couldn't let this one slide. After all, it was Gary's lighter that saved the day in the end.
Ah, a handkerchief. May I use it?
Of course. After all, Eve was giving it to him.
Isn't this real lace? Well, I don't particularly want to tarnish this. Too late, unfortunately. Oh well. I'll borrow this anyway. Thanks, Ebe. Well, let's get going.
Now that the worst was over, Eve wanted to take a look around to see just who Mary really was.
A bit late, but was it wise to torch one of Guertena's paintings? If it was the real deal, it was worth a fortune, wasn't it?
Then again, it would be worth nothing to them if they were sliced open with a palette knife.
Like I said, it's a bit late. Let's hope no one asks. Are these books about sweets? And these storybooks? How to make friends?
Mary really wanted to go out into the real world, didn't she?
I've had enough of these. Don't touch it, Ebe.
If Eve and Gary ever got out of this alive, Eve was going to show Gary some good dolls, like the Muppets or the Dark Crystal or Labyrinth.
I like inviting visitors to live with us, and the others do too. But I want to leave this place myself and live outside. But for me to get out, seems like I'd have to switch places with someone from outside. Won't somebody come soon? Won't somebody come soon?
This is...
And then it came to them. The whole reason behind Mary's actions. Isolating Gary, bonding with Eve, the sudden change of behavior upon being discovered, and the concept of the real and imaginary trading places. Mary had planned to go back with Eve and leave Gary behind, and when that plan failed,
she really wasn't human after all.
But she almost was.
Come on, Ebe. Time for us to go home. Whoa, it's dark. What's your step, Ebe?
down, down they went, from white to blue, to green, to yellow, red, gray, purple, brown, pink,
This place looks familiar.
and finally, black. It was almost as if it was back where they had started. From the pamphlets to the layout of the room, even the promotional picture that Guertena was known for was there. There was just one thing that was out of place.
I feel like I've passed these stairs before. Ebe, are you going down there? I feel very nervous.
And so, Ebe and Gary made their way even deeper down the rabbit hole. Down to a place that was secret even to Mary. Because the strangest and most secretive of places often begins with something very, very familiar. Often as a way to camouflage its location or to make you drop your guard. But Ebe had crossed the Rubicon the moment she went down the stairs. There was no turning back.
You and the rose are unified. You must know the weight of life. When the rose wilts, so too will you rot away.
And now the time had come to explore the gallery of Weiss Guertena in full.
We'll drink a little pink, the savior of the human race. She invented medicinal compound, just efficacious in every case.
Now here's a story, a little bit gory, a little bit happy, and a little bit sad, about Lily the Pink Cat, her medicinal compound, and how it drove us raving mad. Ebenezer, he's steady with Julius Caesar, so they put him in the home, and then they gave him medicinal compounds, and now he's emperor of Rome. We'll drink a little pink, savior of the human race. She invented medicinal compound, was efficacious in every case. Freddie Klinger, the opera singer, to break a glass with his voice to set the end, rubbed his tonsils with medicinal compound. Now they break glasses over his head. We'll drink a little pink, savior of the human race. She invented medicinal compound, was efficacious in every case.
It's part walkthrough, part drama, part parody, and all kinds of awesome. So what are you waiting for? Let's get this show on the road.